Good morning and welcome to Shaman at Large Ministry. I am J. David Nichols. I am your shaman. Today we're going to take a reading from Daniel chapter 3 as we come to understand and begin to relate the scriptural texts to our own current state and where we're living at today. There's going to be essentially three parts to this discussion today. First, we're going to do a little bit of analysis as to how we go about using the texts and how we go about using scriptures in our daily lives. Secondly, we'll go over the story of Daniel chapter 3. And then thirdly, we're going to discuss how that story in Daniel chapter 3 applies to us today and in the world in which we live. Daniel chapter 3, just real quickly before we get into the textual analysis, is the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Let us first begin to understand then how we are to use and treat the sacred texts that have been provided us. The Mormons have an idea that says that we are supposed to take Scripture and that we are supposed to liken Scriptures unto ourselves. Essentially, this means that we are to take the stories, the teachings, the writings from the time that was written then, and then look for ways in which the lessons learned and taught and communicated within those texts, within that particular context, the scene that was explained when the scriptures were first written, either as a first-hand personal account or as an after-the-fact narrative and description of events that took place. Either way, the point that we use the scriptures for is to help us to understand and make decisions today based upon decisions, ideas, and concepts that people who wrote the sacred texts understood. This is the process of likening, so that when we take these scriptures, we're able to understand and analyze from that time period those elements that are within that particular frame, that are within that particular context, and apply them to today. In order for us to do this, we must understand that reality, all human reality in particular, is fractal in nature. Those things that took place 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, or even 6,000 years ago, if you're following along a strict literal interpretation of the timeline in the Bible, or if you're using a more abstract interpretation, the point is the same. Those people that wrote the texts had an understanding and recognized and observed human behavior and made observations of that human behavior. Whether or not it was divinely inspired directly or simply given the person's capacity that was given to them by their Creator to understand the world around them and then written down as sacred texts. Things that happened then are still happening now. We have leaders, we have followers, we have a government, we have citizens, we have wars, we have conflicts. Then we need to understand how we can use what our forefathers and foremothers observed and take those lessons and apply them to our daily lives today.